And now from the Coastal Empire and Low Country studios of WJCL News. WJCL News at 5:30. Working for you.
And welcome back. It is 5:30. Plenty more ahead during WJCL's 90-minute newscast. If you are just tuning in, let's bring you up to speed on some of the stories that we are working on tonight. An emergency landing at the Hunter Army Airfield. Breaking news. It happened about 3:30 this afternoon. WJCL was first on the scene. Delta Flight 1947. Well, it could not land because of the severe weather. That then caused a fuel emergency. WJCL's Ashley Lincoln has been out there throughout the evening for us, reporting live for us. Ashley, what have we learned so far? Any updates?
Yeah, Jennifer, that plane is still out here on the airstrip. Behind me is Delta Flight 1947. As you mentioned, it had to make an emergency landing this afternoon around 4 p.m. Now, this is a Delta flight that was leaving from LaGuardia, stopping in Savannah, and its final destination, we just found out a while ago, is Atlanta. Now, what happened here is that because of the severe weather we're having with all the lightning, the plane was actually in a holding pattern, circling around the airport, waiting for an opportunity to land safely. Unfortunately, that opportunity did not come, and the plane started to run out of fuel. Therefore, they had to come here to Hunter Army Airfield and make that emergency landing. Now, this plane out here is a MD-88. It holds 155 passengers, and that's how many passengers are on board this aircraft. And what's going to happen now is that these passengers, they are going to stay on board this plane. They're going to refuel the plane and then wait until weather conditions get better before they take off and head to Savannah Airport. Now, we've been checking up, and so far no injuries have been reported or have there been any damages to that aircraft behind me. But we anticipated earlier that it'll be about an hour wait before they can head back off, but it all depends on weather conditions. Soon as the weather clears up, that's when they'll get cleared to head back out, Jennifer.
Didn't see vehicles out there at the landing strip when that plane came in. Did they have any problems whatsoever?
Repeat that, Jennifer. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. Did you notice if they had any emergency vehicles around the landing strip as a precaution when that flight came in, and did they have any trouble?
Yeah, Jennifer, earlier when we were out here, and it's a lot clearer, you could see the runway a lot better. We did not notice any emergency vehicles out there. No first responders were responding. So right now, that kind of backs up what we confirmed earlier, with no injuries on board or no damage to that flight, no damage to that aircraft.
Okay, one last question for you, Ashley. You know, with social media, I wonder if some of the passengers on board have been tweeting out or sending out any updates. Any word from any of the passengers that we know of? I wonder what the mood is on that flight. If it feels like an emergency situation or more of a goodness gracious,
sure.
When are we leaving?
Yeah, I'm sure it is very emergency situation. I mean, imagine being on that flight and you hear the captain come over and say they have to make an emergency landing. I'm sure the passengers on board are a bit antsy, but we haven't got an official word yet on what the mood is like on that aircraft. I do know we do have a reporter headed out to the Savannah Hilton Head Airport. I know some of those passengers' families are probably waiting on standby for this plane to get back over there. Now, all the passengers won't be deplaning in Savannah. Some of them are making their way to the Atlanta airport once everything gets up and moving. But so far, from our vantage point right here, we haven't seen a lot of activity happening on that runway. It looks like they're just waiting to refuel that plane and waiting for the weather conditions to clear up before they can head back out.
Reporting live for us at Hunter Army Airfield. We'll check back with you as the developments unfold out there. Thanks, Ashley. We can also tell you that WJCL's Larry Spruill is on his way to the Savannah International Hilton Head Airport. Hopefully, when that plane lands, he'll be able to talk to some of the passengers. Right. But again, the whole situation began because of the severe weather. Yeah, we've had some big storms out there. Let's get right to our live radar. We can show exactly what's happening right now. Here's a look at the heavy rain that's still affecting areas mainly south of Savannah now. Around the airport and Hunter, things are a lot quieter. Actually, around Hunter, we haven't seen a whole lot of heavy rain, but we're seeing still some rain right now.
Out at the airport, the rain is pretty light and will continue to diminish here coming up shortly. Heading further south, again, Richmond Hill heading west, some very heavy rain. A lot of that on Highway 144 heading out toward Fort Stewart, and some other areas of heavy rain and lightning too, including Hinesville, heading up through Claxton, Vidalia, getting some heavy rain and lightning. And right now, we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, but just keep in mind there are some areas of potting of water out there on roads. If you travel into any areas of heavy rain, use extra caution. Let's look at your weather headlines. We are looking at the storms heading into this evening. This weekend, we will continue to see afternoon storm chances, and it will be slightly less hot because of those afternoon clouds and storms. We'll continue to track your storms, your weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
In consumer news tonight, this might be the best month to buy a new car. That's according to True Car Research. They say August tends to have the lowest average sale price at around $30,000. Well, that's because dealers are trying to move old inventory to try to make room for the newer models. True Car says the first 2 days of any month are also good times to buy a car. Ratings for Delta taking off. The airline is #1 when it comes to fewer canceled flights and mishandled bags. They also do better with on-time arrivals. Well, the carrier also got top marks for the most improved customer service. That's according to Airfare Watchdog. Well, Delta achieved the top score overall, and that's a big improvement from last year when they were in 6th place. Malaysia's sovereign wealth fund is taking Malaysia Airlines off the stock market. It's part of a move to restructure the airline. The shares were suspended today. Now, Malaysia Airlines was in financial trouble before the disasters of Flight 370 and Flight 17 that killed 537 people. Well, it hadn't turned a profit in years, and it just could not compete with low-cost carriers, and the need for another government bailout was growing. All right, let's check out the numbers on the stock market today. Pretty good day. Let's take a look at some of those numbers and we can show you exactly how the day turned.